Good evening and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It's Monday, which means that we're playing Shadows of Esteren. We've been working through this prologue book, which I believe is free to download on the Drive-Thru RPG site. We're on the final of the third adventures. This may well be the finale. We'll have to wait and see, find out for certain, but it's pretty likely. So below the stream, there are links to our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our social media accounts, our Discord, which you should join and come and chat to us about all things tabletop role-playing games and otherwise. There's a lovely group of people on there that we all chat together and have a lovely time. And also our Patreon. So if you enjoy what we do on the channel, you can support us on there and receive rewards in return for your generosity. Other things that we do on the channel, we have Simba Room on a Wednesday night. At some point, again, we'll be picking up the World of Darkness game on a Thursday night, probably mid to late May, I think. And once a month on a weekend, we have a different one-shot. So far this year, we've had Cyberpunk and Tales from the Loop. The next one is going to be on the 16th of April, and I will be running a Call of Cthulhu game that may or may not be a follow-on from the Christmas game that I ran, The Long Silent Night. We'll probably chat a little bit more about that after this session, if all being well. So let's get into it. Recaps from last session. Let's bring on Sam first, who plays Fionn. Hi, Sam. So we left the previous session with you finding an opening to a downward stairway under the chapel.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about what you found.
Yeah, so we head back to the chapel because it was the last place all our memories kind of made sense. So we thought and we all kind of had this memory of it's important. Nothing particularly strange seemed to be going on there, except I went for a wander and left everyone else chatting to the woman I can't remember the name of who ran the place, and found kind of a slab that didn't make sense and pulled it over and went down. And down there I found, well, it wasn't like, a crazy cult cellar or something like that. Not really suspicious, but certainly kind of middling suspicious. It was basically a load of papers that looked like they'd been there a long time on a desk hidden underneath this room. And in there I found information kind of about a few different things. I think some of the most interesting stuff was about the Magiantists. It was kind of tales from this side of the experience. So the what's the temple called? Is it just called the temple? That's what it is, right?
The Temple of the One God, I believe.
Okay, of the One God. Yeah, they kind of just called themselves the temple, didn't they? Yeah. So whoever was here at the time of the Magiantists was writing about it, and that's the things that I found. And basically, they're saying about how during the war, the people of this valley kind of fell out with the temple, and they felt a little concerned for their safety, and that the locals turned against them, but particularly the locals turned against the Magiantists. And apparently, I have papers that confirm that the Magiantists died over a particular year. I think we have the exact date written down now, and we also have records of the fact that basically it seems like the Demorzen in Loch Varn was directly related, if not responsible, for that death, and provoking the local people against the Magiantists, which is pretty big news. There was also some weird stuff about maybe this priest was maybe associated with it by some people in the hills, friends in the hills, which they seem to dismiss in the text. So perhaps that's just utterly unrelated, but another interesting note there. So I think that's kind of all the most important things from those papers. So I nabbed them. And came out and joined the rest. I kind of judged that the woman who was running the place didn't seem to know about it. She was fairly new, and it was quite well hidden at all, so I don't think she was involved. So we didn't really do anything else there. We kind of basically just head off to Loch Varn, and because I think that was the morning. Yeah, so we had a few other ideas in mind for what we might do with the rest of the day.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. So let's bring on Steve, who plays Ragnall the Hunter.
Hello there.
Hi, Steve. Do you want to go through what you did once you got back to Loch Varn?
Yeah, so on the way back, we took another look at the puzzle, the weird scrap of paper that Fulga had ended up with for whatever reason, which this is what it looks like. So previously, we'd figured out that the bottom portion of it meant, or probably indicated, that we should look for an island, given that the Savelli's passion was going on rowboat trips to islands to discuss Magians. So we knew there was an island on Loch Varn, and taking another look at the formula on the top, we figured out that that was some sort of indicator solution that would react to reveal certain sort of Magians compounds. So Fionn was able to whip up a quick batch of that. We headed back to Loch Varn and took a rather wobbly rowboat ride to the very small island in the middle of the loch to find a solitary tree and like a large stone tablet that was embedded at its base. And spreading the indicator on the tablet revealed a pair of coordinates, it turns out. That once we travelled back, we'd sort of try to hide the evidence of that and then travel back. And we found that indicated a fairly nearby location, but we weren't quite sure what it was. So we made plans to go and have a look.
Yeah. So yeah, let's bring on Inga, who plays Sophia the Varigel, and she can talk us through. Hello, what you discovered.
Yeah, so we decided to head out that evening, and we went to the location that this code sort of translated to, kind of pinpointed it being a bit south of Loch Varn. So we got there and had a bit of a look around. We found a very particular point. There was I think it was another tree we'd kind of got up to, and Sophia noticed that there was a bit of dirt that looked different to the rest of the dirt around, and we realized we kind of spotted it around a few times. It was a more kind of browner brown. It was just a slightly different color to the rest of the earth, and we ended up sort of digging around and found that there was a little casket in there, and inside this little box was some other papers, including the other half to it was a sort of second half of a torn page we'd kind of come across earlier. And this sort of disturbed earth seems to be correlated with flux in the ground or something. We're not quite sure yet, but yes. So we found these papers, and then things got weird again.
Yeah, let's let Justin tell us about that, who plays Fulga the Knight. Hi, Justin.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So we found the papers, and then all of a sudden it all went wibbly wobbly again, and we found ourselves present, but not where we thought we were by the tree, but instead crouching behind some kind of rubble, being pinned down by fire. When all of a sudden someone appeared from around the corner and threatening me. Fulga killed them. And this might sound familiar to many viewers because it sounds familiar to us because it's happened now twice, 3 times, a lot of times.
Just twice.
Twice, a lot of times. We've been reliving this same murder event a few times. In fact, many of us have remembered it different. It's all very odd, basically. So. Maybe the whole thing was just predestined. And a quick note as well, Sam. The reason it's just the temple and not the temple of the one god, because if you have to keep saying there's only one god, then it kind of gives the game away that there isn't just one god. So you tend to slip that bit under the it's the temple.
I don't know about how your weird church rituals work. It's all alien to me.
If you have to keep saying
whatever
there's only
you
one
say.
god, you've lost the game already.
So, You are, as I've said, all crouched behind this wall. You have just seen Fulgur shoot and presumably kill somebody that had Fulgur informed everybody previously, sort of
that they were my
during
cousin.
the game as a whole, that this had anybody spotted
Yes.
him and he'd said he thought that this was his cousin.
Yeah,
I think
that conversation.
I think that Fulgur would have relayed that he thought it was his cousin, but
it was when you were going on about the tirade about how
this
is clearly a sign from God. You definitely mentioned that it was your cousin during that.
Yeah, I think not when you'd spotted him, but just it was after you had the extra dream where you got the extra slip of paper. You explained that there was some cousin who you knew was your cousin, but you didn't know what he looked like, and we were all like, "What?"
But Fulgur's grasp on reality is tenuous at the best of times, and in this episode or in this adventure, it's even worse.
Jonny, so yeah, this man has basically. This man has basically fallen at Fulgur's feet. You remember all of what has happened during our game sessions. You also remember that I'll tell you exactly what you remember. So on top of everything that has happened during the game, you remember that you remember these things as facts. So some of them will double up with what we have played, which is why I'm specifying that now. But this is what you remember as what has happened before. So there were distress signals from Loch Varn while you were in the Vale of Melwan. You were sent along with some other people as a scouting party to come here. You went to obviously you passed through the inn guard, and everything that happened there is as you remember from what I'll call. I'm gonna refer to what's yeah. So that's what you remember from there. That all matches up. And you then went to St. Nylene's Chapel, and Joan there did tell you about the person who had come from the inn guard and had died there, looking like they had received a number of bites.
Yes. Yeah. Check.
You then stayed in Varn village and went to a village council meeting with the clan chief, the Demorthan and the Dematha, which is, I think, matches up to what happened in the past. The community suspects that the troubles that have been going on began at the Magiantis ruin. First group has already gone to explore the ruins, but not come back. At this point, your group volunteered to go there as well, along with the Demorthan, a warrior of Varn, and the Varigal, Jabir, who was with you at this time. You have then got to the ruins. The warriors formerly sent by Varn have been fighting with a group of mercenaries, and that is what you have basically stumbled into.
Do we remember? Do we remember what we've been role playing?
You do remember that,
but it doesn't overlap with what we know to be facts.
No. And as far as you're concerned, you haven't really lost any time apart from maybe a couple of seconds, perhaps, while you've been thinking about this stuff in your brain.
So it seems all like one very long dream in that short period when we've arrived at these ruins at some point? ever all those days. Okay,
Makes sense.
okay.
It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense.
Do we have any of the pieces of paper? Wait, no. I guess there's not enough time to ask those kinds of questions. We're in a kind of a sticky
we're under
situation.
attack right now, I think, aren't we? Yeah.
You know that you do not. Well,
right.
You without checking, I suppose. Bearing in mind everything's been a bit weird, you don't know that you don't. However, there is nothing in your actual memories to suggest that you have collected these bits of paper.
Cool. And my cousin who I killed.
Yes.
Are they my cousin? And why
Yes.
did I kill them if I knew who they were? Very confusing.
You did that in last session. You chose to do that. It was you.
You were happy about that.
No. I
Yes,
don't
you
think
ended
that
last
happened.
session happy about that.
Well, anyway.
I'm
In
going to
any
grab a
case-
torch.
You know it was a situation of shoot or be shot,
Okie dokie.
which I believe Fulgur would
oh, yeah.
probably shoot even if it was a cousin.
Yeah. I don't care about him. And do we know our own names?
Yes.
Well, that's a good improvement.
You're completely... You are completely of your right mind.
Right.
And as far as you're concerned, you've had a very compressed vision over the course of about 2 seconds.
I'm going to learn from my very compressed vision and grab a torch before I try and move anywhere.
Hang on, a vision of like the last 4 episodes squeezed into a flash forward.
Looking around the wall that is around me, what's the state of this fight between the mercenaries and is it the first group of adventurers or the second group of adventurers that's fighting? The first group.
The first group, because the only so you 4 have come this time along with Dion the Demorthan, the Varigul, and a warrior.
And was my cousin part of the first group?
No, mercenaries. Unrelated, it seems.
And the Demorthan and co are not with us currently.
They are not.
They're in a camp.
You got separated from them on the way in.
But that way. Oh, and is the labyrinth that we're in somewhat similar to the labyrinth as we remember it?
Do you want the map up?
No, I remember the map. Does it look like our weird memory of it?
It's dark in here. You can't see it to all the walls.
But the spot.
However, I would say that you would have the spot where you are looks exactly the same as it did when we started in the first session. However, you would imagine that this space is not bigger than the space it should be now. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Because obviously in your previous instance of being here, it kind of it didn't make sense really, the dimensions. Yeah. And obviously you can't be sure, but you have no reason to believe that, you wouldn't walk the amount of distance it should be and not get to a wall here.
So how is the fight going between the mercenaries and the first group of adventurers?
Well, you have been pinned down by some mercenaries currently, but the shooting has temporarily stopped.
And the mercenaries are not part of our group. They're new to us.
Yes.
Right. Then I would like to kill some mercenaries. That's Fulgur's current attitude.
Jonny, is it similar to the first time when we were here and we had like a really clear, we are in serious trouble, we've got to get out of here, these guys are going to kill us, there's too many of them kind of feeling? Or is it just that one guy?
There have been a large number of arrows flying overhead.
Yeah, I feel like Theon has quite quickly made up his mind that he's going to do exactly the same thing he did last time, presuming that the old Demorthan is where they were at a shorter distance. I'm going to run in that direction that I remember them being, but grabbing a torch so I don't trip over this time.
You're going to do things like you did before, but better this time.
But with no centipede death.
We can deal with that when we're not being fired at. Sophia is just going to say, "Run again," and head in the same direction. I think same idea as Fionn. Try and get to that same point where we meet, where we can find the Demorthen, and then do something differently.
but the group, they're pinned down. They need help.
We're the group that's pinned down, Fulgur. There's just us and mercenaries. There's not other people.
Ridiculous. Right. Well, I guess we'll regroup to more solid ground and then reconsider our attack.
Okay. So, can you make me feats rolls, please?
8.
I don't feel good about this.
I rolled a 2 plus 6 makes 8.
Oh, okay.
That's the wrong roleplay system. Find the right one.
Oh no, we slipped into a different.
7.
Oh, this is going to take. Oh, there we go.
12.
Fine.
We should have stayed in fort.
Sorry, my computer is being very slow. Give me a moment.
We might all trip and fall and stay and fight.
We can get there eventually. Okay. It's open. Now will it scroll? Yes. Oh, it's combativeness. No. 4. And I rolled a 1.
Oh no!
Oh, roll again, because if you roll another one,
Oh, no.
fumble.
Crit fail.
I did not roll another one.
Okay.
Is this one of those circumstances where I should use one of my survival points? I wonder. I probably
So
wouldn't.
close to
wouldn't
crashing
succeed
into
anyway.
a wall.
I had a torch
No.
this time.
You did.
Set yourself on fire.
Doesn't stop it crashing into
That would be a
wall.
double 1.
You make your way through the ruins, and you think that you hear people gaining on you, but they're still not within visual range yet. And that's partly because Fion's sort of fumbling his way over a couple of fallen pillars.
We're all fumbling a bit.
Jonny,
However, yeah.
now that I guess we've kind of seen this twice,
Mhm.
the people who had been firing at us, is there any similarity between them and the mercenaries that the Magiantists had hired in one of the previous adventure, in the first adventure? Essentially, is there any reason to consider that these people could be connected to Magiantists, or do they seem to have no connection to Magiants?
You haven't actually seen them yet.
Okay.
So you approach some sections of wall that you remember just over the other side of previously was the camp. Are you proceeding in at pace?
Is this been a shorter distance than before? Or is it like a huge area again? Because you mentioned,
It's still
good.
So the ruins are quite large anyway, but this does not. Yeah, you think you get there in a. It took you minutes.
Yeah, this feels like a large
last
route.
time. Yeah, so you do get there quicker than previously.
I mean, I'm probably not in the lead at this point because I rolled my terrible feat, so someone else is going to make that decision, I think.
Sophia would go barreling in as
Okay.
quickly as possible if she could.
The area is empty.
Oh dear.
You hear a voice from maybe 20 meters up ahead. Not sure who it is, but as far as you're concerned, all the bad people are behind you for the moment.
And we're in area 1.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You see now I'm wondering who we can trust. Because this is the Demorthen. What was the name of the Demorthen? Was it
Diorn?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if we've got much choice. I think go running in if it seems empty and it sounds like there's voices.
Well, unless we can
Beyond
listen
that,
first.
it better be you.
Is there somewhere nearby that one could hide? Like, is there like there's all these walls and things? Does it look like somewhere we could hide and see what's happening with these people running after us? And I give them the slip.
Yeah, you could. Well, it'd be a case of kind of putting your backs against the wall again, and they may run past, or you could end up pinned down again.
I think it's worth seeing who these people are and what their real intentions are, and all the rest.
I mean, if we can learn who hired them.
Maybe, I don't know. Or we could just keep running. I think we went to the weird plot, vat room next. Should be over there, pointing in a random
there's
direction.
a weird plant thing in the weird vat room, so.
Well, maybe the plant thing in the real life is just a small plant.
Theon catches up, stumbling through the ruins. They're not far behind. Panting, scrape knees.
So does the camp exist? It's just empty, or is it? Doesn't it?
This area is empty.
Right.
So this is sort of this area was kind of encircled by 4 walls that were all in varying states of disrepair, and it had the fire in it, and there's no sign of somebody having been camped here now.
I will say, still panting, let's hide. Sounds like a good idea. Not at all, because I'm just knackered.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Looking around, can I see any other sort of weird brown patches of earth, just out of interest?
Not in here, but you wouldn't. It's sort of, it's indoors, so you wouldn't necessarily expect to in here.
Then can we roll for stealth or something? Or?
Yes.
I'm going to quench the torch.
Do stealth rolls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what others were thinking, but I think if people seem like they're all bunching together, Sophia might take herself slightly to the side or suggest we do pairs, perhaps.
Have you rolled a 10, Sam?
I rolled 2 10s in a row.
Wow.
After my 1.
Okay.
That made up for it a bit.
What did everybody else roll?
A total of 10.
15.
Okay.
Total of 8.
Okay.
Don't say okay
the 8,
like that.
The 8 probably... No, the 8 probably wouldn't have done it, but I think that you'd probably be bundled in with Theon. Naturally, I think you and Theon would go together.
Yeah.
And I think that Theon probably goes, your leg would be poking out. Yeah.
I'll spot Ragnar, hiding behind like an outcropping of rock. His butt's just sticking out the side or something.
Good cartoon. All right, cool. Right.
So you hear a group of reasonably high-paced footsteps coming towards you from behind, and you hear a man say, "Well, look, we can't lose them. We should spread out."
Can we see any of them? Can we recognize any of them?
Not yet. And then he says, "Actually, you know what? Forget it. Let's just go get the papers and leave. They don't matter."
Rude.
And they turn away and go back.
And we still don't recognize any of them.
No, you didn't recognize voices. If you sort of snuck a peek,
They're not.
they just looked. They looked like mercenaries. There were no insignia. There was nothing to sort of mark them out as who they might have been sent by.
And how many of them were there?
That you could see 8, 10.
Too many. Too many.
Like 3 is too many, generally.
Well, I find that insulting.
That's solved that problem anyway. Papers?
But which they don't mean the papers that we. And I'll start looking through and try and have I got any of the bits of.
No,
none at all.
Similarly, like all the notes that Sophia's been making to herself to remember things when she wakes up, are those all missing as well?
Everything is missing. However, anything that you read or made a note of, you have an incredibly vivid memory of.
Okay.
To the point
Like-
that you could write it down verbatim, like no problem.
Conspicuously good, then, presumably, given that I've read all those like church documents and stuff. That would not stick in your head otherwise. Okay, interesting.
You hear from where you think from where you heard the voice from a couple of moments ago. You hear a sort of pained groan.
Oh, is that Fulger's cousin?
No, so this is
right.
further away from where you've come from. So you've not passed this area.
Okay.
Does it sound like an old man?
No.
Okay. Let's head that way.
Go have a look.
Mm-hmm.
You spot sort of leaning back against a rock, clutching at a wound in his abdomen, the warrior from Varn that was sent with you, Jiren and Dion. And he says, something happened to Jiren. I think you need to go and help Dion. It was like he was sounds stupid. Like he was possessed. He started talking like he was somebody else. I think he. No, it was. Look, I can't move, but I'll be okay. So you should go and try and find them.
Where
is he going to be?
I think they were going outside. Jiren said something about showing Dion a lab. I didn't really understand.
You said he sounded possessed. Don't worry about how absolutely insane it might sound. What do you think? Who do you think he sounded like?
I don't know. He just suddenly changed, and it was like he hated Dion.
Did he sound like a magiantist?
I suppose I don't know anybody else who'd use a lab. Maybe.
You sure you're all right here?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Go and help Dion.
I was just going to say, is he going to be fine? Using my knowledge.
You're a little bit concerned that the other guys might find him.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, and it does seem like this is kind of an out of the way area in this room, so there is a good chance that he won't be found, and he might try and hide himself a bit more. You don't think that he's going to die from these wounds in the next sort of few hours, if somebody can get him some help in that time.
Cool. I'll leave him be then, I suppose, if it's going to be mostly okay. We have more pressing concerns.
Who injured you?
Jiren. When he started being strange, I tried to get Dion away from him, and he lashed out.
Did Dion resist?
Yeah.
As much as he could, anyway.
Did Dion seem surprised?
Yeah, he didn't seem to know what was going on.
There was nothing to tell what caused this in Jiren. No change, nothing around at the time. Just came from nowhere all of a sudden.
It just happened.
Have you seen any of those other people, those mercenary types?
Yeah, we came down here to try and keep away from them, really. I haven't seen any of the other warriors from the village yet.
But those mercenaries, they're not. There's no chance they could be that first outsider group who came out to scout the area. Maybe they've been possessed too.
No, I saw one when we slipped past some. It's not them.
Okay. All right, we better find Dion then.
From here, Jonny, presumably we know vaguely the direction we head in to find the door to the north, but that would be kind of the opposite way of getting out of the building, right? And the map, or unless we know of an exit to the north, I don't think we do on the map, do we?
Yeah, although you don't know if there is any way out at the bottom of this room necessarily.
I mean, there's one mark.
There wasn't previously.
Oh no, that's a little thing. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we did check it out previously, didn't we too? I guess I'll ask then. Should we head out the way we know, or try and find another way? It wasn't exactly safe in whatever that was before.
Sorry,
the way we know.
Jonny, the way that we came. So, I think from memory of that first session, we kind of just ran like opposite direction of where where we were being attacked from, and then we kind of we sort of picked a direction from the camp, but presumably away from the people. What could we sort of deduce that the direction of the attacking people is in the sort of southern direction on the map here, that is towards that what looks like the entrance?
So you kind of started in I'd say about a third of the way from the top, so more northern, and then you're kind of around the bottom of that one circle that marks this area now.
Oh, okay.
And the door into the room with the vats was kind of like adjacent to the two. It's kind of in that gap that between the vats.
Should we see if we can try to find that door then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. And when he's talked about the lab, because we remember this map, right? So if they've talked about the lab, the only thing that on this map would sort of make sense abbreviated to lab is not laboratory, but labyrinth.
Yes, potentially. Or maybe the vats are part of the lab. Who knows? These Magiantists, they have strange ways of talking.
But do we remember the discovery right at the end of the last episode, which there was like a report that mentioned a hidden lab or something? Do we remember that?
Yep.
Right. But that's not here. That's outside. Yeah.
Well, that's what Jaren said, outside. We need to get out of this place, seems to be the answer.
Let's try and do that then.
Jonny, you said we have a clear memory of everything up to this point, and then the game sessions feel like a dream sort of thing. So how do we remember coming into this room and into the ruins then?
You came in from the 3 at the bottom, the entrance of the ruins, up through the vat room, right, and then that's kind of, you got pinned then not long after entering the area that's marked as the labyrinth.
So I guess I will say we should just go back out the way we came in. Hope it's all safe, I suppose.
Let's aim for that. Although I would be kind of interested in checking out what's in the rooms, but never mind.
Let's hurry out first. We could always come back if we need to.
Sorry, Fionn, which was the room where in the dream the centipede?
That would be the entrance way.
That was the entrance. But it's the only way we know of getting out, and there was nothing there when we entered. So I suppose perhaps it was
presumably there wasn't the first time either. We should be careful.
Well,
things haven't gone as in the dream so far. Let's just exit the way we entered and see what we find. Cautious.
Sophia is watching the ceiling.
They'll come up from below. That's how it works. Do we think those papers are important? We can remember them. Do we need them? Do we need to stop them from getting them?
I don't know that it matters at this point.
We have no idea where they might be, or even if they are the papers we know of. I don't think it's worth staying here trying to find that out.
Yeah, I realise time is of an issue.
I think probably we're saying this while walking out.
Let's just get going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, without too much of an issue, and after a couple of minutes, you work your way into the vat room. Can you make me luck rolls, please?
9. Now,
Is luck just a straight roll?
Just a D10. Yeah.
are these as we remember them?
Good,
Oh,
phew.
no.
I just rolled 2, so I was scared.
I'm done. I'm just done with this game. I'm so
So
done.
look, everything's happening differently. I'm like,
So
Bear in mind, this happened before, Johnny.
Yes.
Bear in mind, I'm prepared for this.
So Theon is the last one into the room, and trips over quite a thick plant creeper.
I immediately recoil at the plant creeper and start smashing at it with my knife.
And then after a moment of that, you realise that it is just an overgrown weed.
It was quite a long moment of panicking. I mean, I was caught up in the dream. That was scary.
relax, Vinter.
We've probably never seen Theon as aggressive as he has been to that poor dead
I
weed.
shoot daggers. I shoot daggers at Fulga.
Feels just rolling around on the floor, wrestling with us.
Yeah.
I bet you those centipedes will be no bigger than your big toe.
So you then head out of this room to the south, presumably heading towards the exit.
Sure.
Yeah. Can we hear anything en route?
Deathly silent. As you go into the exit hall, can you all make me look rolls again, please?
7. If that's lowest, I'm done.
7.
9.
Thank you.
4.
Okay. Fulga feels a something drop on his head as he enters this hallway.
Does he? You wouldn't even notice. You know, like what is perception for? I mean, would a 9 on perception even notice? Maybe I just ignore it. I brush it off.
Okay. It feels wet on your hand, and you could probably presume that it's maybe a leak in the ceiling.
I was going to say, Fion's looking at the ceiling anyway in this as soon as entering.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so in that case, Theon probably spots that there is an area that is leaking and may drop on somebody when they step in. Is he going to tell Fulga?
Fulga wouldn't even listen.
Yeah, maybe like I'm in the process of telling Fulga. No, wait, and Fulga's already in under the thing, and I'm like,
I don't think
something...
Fulga even stops.
I've pointed out to everyone else. What is it?
Maybe
Like just a hole something's leaking from? Nothing conspicuous? Is it just a broken
just
bit of ceiling?
Yeah.
Is it
you
melted
could just
through?
see it, you just see sort of a long crack, and there's sort of a swelling sort of drop that looks like it's about to drop through as you step through.
Okay. Well, while Fulga's completely ignoring this, I'm gonna go and have a look at presumably the puddle of fluid on the ground where it's been dripping.
Yeah, it just looks like water. At a simple glance, it just looks like water.
Looking down towards the rooms, does it look like there's anyone there? Like any lights or torches or?
There is a small amount of light coming from under a doorway down there. Yes.
I reckon that's where those mercenaries are. We could get the jump on them.
We don't have time. We can come back. We don't even know what the papers are. There's no reason to.
We do. I suspect we know exactly what the papers are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we do know what the papers are, we have no reason to believe that they can interpret them. We've been through a very specific turn of events in our own minds, presumably. How could they possibly find that out?
Yes,
and anyway, we already know what's on them. We're well ahead of them in this process.
Okay, fine. Let's leave.
I'm also just glancing at Fulga's shoulder, where the fluid I saw drop on it. Just keeping an eye on this. Don't trust the ceiling.
Smoke or
Fulga's shoulder seems fine.
Yes, if a little damp. Yeah. Okay. Heading outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is no door on the outside. There's just an opening outside. It's a ruin, and
there is no door, but there is an exit.
There is an exit. Yes.
That's
And you head out into the cool night air. Again, pretty silent.
No sign of the Northern.
Not where you are currently that you can see. No.
Presume.
Can I look around for tracks?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same.
Yeah, sure. Make me a roll
tracking.
that is relevant.
Tracking.
Yeah, tracking. That'll do. That's perfect. In fact.
17.
Yeah. Yes. You pick up the trail, which is aided by the fact that there is something seems to be being dragged. Not a body. Something you would guess either a weapon or maybe a shovel.
Okay. That's weird.
Sophia got a 17 on that roll as well. So I'll maybe just spot Ragnar and say, that's weird.
Is it heading towards... No, oh no, we don't know where the place was. Well, let's just follow this trail.
Wait.
Sam, make me a Demorthan roll.
Yeah.
To see if you're aware of the location of Glutter's, because I think you know that the lab is at Glutter's Sanctuary, but I don't think that anybody would necessarily know where Glutter's Sanctuary specifically was.
I was just going to ask, does it look like it's dragging, like around the side of the building or like away from the building?
Away.
Away, yeah.
This is just straight Demorthan mystery.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 15.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're pretty confident that even without any tracking, you would be able to get to around about the point where the where Glutter's Sanctuary was.
Okay. I will say, I think they were headed to Glutter's Sanctuary. It makes sense from the direction. It's where I remember it being. The lab. Not what I would expect it to be referred to as. Let's see what we find. What time of day is it, Jonny, by the way?
It's night.
Okay. Did we arrive here at night or like evening?
Evening, yeah.
Yeah, because we left just as it was getting dark, didn't we? I think. So it still seems to be we still seem to be at the same sort of point of day. That seems to tally up at least.
Yeah, whether that's coincidental or not, that matches up.
Don't spoil things, Jonny.
I will start fairly quietly calling for Morag. After all this weirdness, that would be some comfort.
For a moment, you hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then from some distance away, you hear a cawing and realise that she's coming.
Yeah.
And then she appears.
Well, let's see if we can beat these mercenaries to the lab.
So, are you making a reasonable pace?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's
Cool.
That's fair.
Okay. So, before you see anything, you hear raised voices. And you kind of... you're going along a path, but it's kind of through some tree cover. And then you come out into a clearing. A swampy clearing. And you see a circle of ritual stones engraved with Ogamic writings. And as soon as you step into this clearing, there's a sort of heavy atmosphere, quite solemn. And you see in the center of the stone circle is Jiren, the Varigul, and his eyes are bulging. And he is yelling at Diorn. In fact, I have for an image. So yes, Jiren is standing, looking, looking not like himself, in your opinions, and yelling basically at Dion. And as you're approaching, you hear him shout, "Your cult is nothing but a lie, Demorthan. Your so-called sanctuary has nothing to do with Glutter. My laboratory, which you have never discovered, is built just below, and only fossil flux is responsible for the putrefaction of this zone, nothing else." And he then grabs Dion and drags him towards a hole which looks to have been dug in the ground. And he says, "See for yourself and accept this truth that you rejected 50 years ago. Your cult is an illusion." And Dion is kind of facing you at this point. You can see his face, and you see a moment of sort of shocked realization. And he says, "Virzel? How is this possible? You died 50 years ago." And you recognize Virzel as the name from the writings of the Magiantist. And he says, "It is ironic, old man. By killing me, you let my experience rot in this laboratory. And this gave birth to monstrous creatures you have been having such trouble with. If you had let me work, I could have cleansed this valley from that brown pestilence and offered Varn's people a better future." And Dion seems to sort of get a second wind at this point and goes to kind of lift himself up, and he says, "Liar. Like your peers, you are only interested in the collection of flux and trading it without a care for people and nature. If you hadn't disturbed the earth looking for your cursed fuel, none of this would have happened." And both of them, at pretty much the same moment, spot you approaching. And
cool.
Jiren, or Virzel, says, You understand. He must be punished. Him and his fanatics. They murdered people. They murdered me. They must be brought to justice. You can help me." And Dion says, No, you have to go into the laboratory and destroy his... There must be things down there causing all of this. Please. You can see he's obviously gone quite mad.
Oh boy.
Jonny, do I know from my history, do I know anything about Glutter Sanctuary? Just kind of a back thing when I was thinking about it. Other than just it's here.
No, I don't think that you would know anything. So Glutter is supposed to be a spirit who, obviously some people might sort of worship Glutter. But just one of many sort of nature spirits that people might speak to and call upon. So no, nothing specific about this sanctuary. I mean, there are many things exactly like this. As far as you're concerned, it's basically a stone circle that's dedicated to Glutter.
Does if I asked it, well, Dion, did you murder him? Is this true?
Look, how could I have murdered somebody who is standing here before you? It makes no sense.
Jiren, justice doesn't happen in the dark. Vengeance is not justice.
No, I am saying that you should reveal what him and his people did. Then justice will come to them. The people of Varn deserve to know what has happened. They should not be living in the shadow of this man.
What do you mean by reveal?
The papers.
Tell everyone. These are all things that I bestowed upon you in a vision. I wanted you to know the truth so that you can help me.
Virgil, before we do anything, drop the sword.
He sheathes it.
Okay, good.
Dion says, Theon, our traditional culture must be maintained. This could destroy the Demorthen in this area. And look, even if this is Flux and not Glutter, that doesn't mean that no Demorthen things are true. You must understand.
Jonny, what was the exact date of Virgil's death that I know?
857, I think, was the date of the...
Okay, that's fine. It does have something there. I'm going to say, you're right, Dion. It could destroy the traditions of the Demorthen here. What happened in 857?
You see him look a little taken aback. Well, a great many things. Look, Jiren is possessed by a rogue spirit. We must free him from its grasp.
I agree. We must.
We should do that post haste.
Well, if no one's going to kill anyone immediately, we could always go down into the lab. Then we could kill either of them, or both of them, frankly.
But if we wish to prove this, the papers are back at the ruins, or at least some of them are.
Virgil, who are the others in the ruins? Who are the people who attacked us?
I don't know. Mercenaries, nothing to do with me.
Why are they looking?
Maybe
for your papers?
maybe sent by other Magiantists.
Why are they looking for your papers, and why would they attack us? Why didn't you put visions in their minds? You sensed us somehow.
They can't help me.
Why can we help you and they can't?
You have already endeared yourself to the people of this region. Many of them trust you, have taken you into their homes. These people are mercenaries who would trust a mercenary's word against their own Demorthen.
Dion, did you send the mercenaries to recover these papers and destroy them?
No, I was afraid for my life in there. It's nothing to do with me.
Let us see what's in this lab.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea, Theon.
Dion.
Okay.
We will hear the truth from you as well.
Are you suggesting that they come down into the lab with you, or is
I'm not
somebody
letting them out of my
staying
sight.
with them?
I mean, I could watch them. I'd like it for you.
What?
I think we should
Perception?
I think we should all go down to the lab.
Let's
together.
all go down. Yeah.
I think we should
What's the
lead
word?
them in first.
Yeah. Agreed. Show us the way, Virgil.
Virgil happily guides you on the way. Once he's checked that somebody is keeping an eye on Dion, he's quite happy to come down there with you.
I'm aware that this is Jeren possessed by Virgil. Does Jeren, the body, seem harmed, or seem what is going on with Jeren as a person? It's just he's fine.
He doesn't seem to have any injuries. He doesn't look to be, apart from his sort of wild look, he doesn't look to be, his body doesn't look distressed apart from that.
Okay.
So
I guess
it doesn't look like he's suddenly about to change like we had in the last adventure, like burst forth into some sort of.
I mean, you didn't really get much warning about that, but no,
we're not really experts on the whole
transmutation.
I'm just trying to figure out what might have made him all possessed, but I'm assuming that's not obvious.
No, there's no. It's not like, he's not suddenly wearing a giant amulet or anything like that. It seems to just be something that's happened as far as you can tell. Yes, Verzel leads you down, and I have another image. There is a trapdoor, basically, which Verzel has dug down to, and this opens to a rotting stairway leading you underground. And here you find a derelict lab. Some of the walls are crumbling in. You presume, the proximity to the sort of swampy, boggy area. Some areas have kind of crumbled inwards. There are large cocoons hanging from the walls. You notice instantly. And
cool.
You kind of feel your stomachs go a little as you notice that the glistening surfaces of these cocoons are undulating slightly, clearly due to the movements of something inside.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure I'm going to enter now, given my historic memory of my own death.
I mean,
and some of the cocoons are empty with sort of exit holes.
Sure.
Some is not enough.
Some is not enough. Well, why are we going down here again?
You also see the metallic table with a sort of crystalline stone with amber-coloured tinting through it, as displayed in the image there.
The moment I see the cocoons writhing on the wall, I just say, "What are those?"
Verzel says, "Like I said, I think my research has been left down here and clearly had an effect on the underground inhabitants. Another thing for Dion to pay for."
How do we stop it?
The stone can be destroyed.
Or sold.
No.
He turns and looks at Fulgur and goes, "Or sold."
Destroyed.
I mean, the giantess would want to pay for it, surely.
Verzel, if we want to help you in this, potentially, if you help us stop this. That's what we're here for.
If you reveal the truth about Dion, make public what happened to me and my people 50 years ago by him and his people, I will leave Jiren and I will destroy the stone.
What's Dion doing / looking like while this is said?
He is sort of talking over the top, sort of pleading, making, but I would say more and more desperate arguments, mostly attempting to appeal to Fion.
I'm entirely ignoring him unless he's given me anything actually useful or salient or new that I haven't already heard, which presumably he isn't, given that I've already said 857 and made him feel very awkward. I'm not really inclined to listen to him much more.
Yeah. The most sort of,
Is there any
instant
evidence?
argument as far as you're concerned that you get from him is, Theon, that do you want Magiants to win out over traditional Demorthan values and practices? That is what will happen.
Versal, is there any evidence in this lab that it was them that killed you, or is the only evidence back at the ruins? Is there anything that you can provide that we could use to convince them?
I could tell them.
Durin should be given control of himself back.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm satisfied that Dion clearly has done something here, but Fionn, he's gone.
a crisis of heart.
I was going to speak directly to Fionn, but perhaps I should speak to the group.
Oh dear. Why not?
I was just going to try and point out to Fionn that, or maybe I'll speak to Dion. Yeah, it's just something more than your mistakes don't have to reflect on the mistakes of all Demorthan. Your failing isn't a failing of all Demorthan. You can be brought to justice without ruining the Demorthan entirely. Don't be so selfish.
This was not a failing. I had to. The things that they were doing in
monstrosities a success.
The things that they were doing, I had to stop them. These monstrosities are because of them.
You didn't stop them.
I mean, I'm going to just turn to the group and go, we have killed for the same.
We have killed for what? Sorry, Fulker?
We have killed Magiantists for their diabolical experiments. I mean, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, you know,
we've killed Magiantists who attacked us. There's a very big difference.
I love looking at the cocoons and going, right, undulating. Okay.
Well, we know these cocoons are here because the research was stopped too soon in an uncontrolled way. We know that from the note we found. Well, we didn't find the notes that. Oh.
Yes.
The note that
presumably
was placed in our heads.
Helped us remember.
Interest. Looking pointedly at Durin.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of. You know, I'm not a big fan of. I've not got a horse in this race. They both can go down themselves for all I care. Both of them are abominations in the name of the one God. But I don't think we have any clear answers. But I think it would be good to destroy and/or sell that massive crystal of flux.
If that's causing these things, we cannot sell it. We have to destroy it. We have to stop it. That is, I don't really care. Like as you say, Fulker, I have no horses in this race, but we have to stop this ridiculousness.
All the soap in the world won't clean your hands if you.
Should write that down.
Responsible for. And Sam is back.
Right. We were just saying, Sam, that Fulger pointed out that we ourselves could be put on trial for unceremoniously dispatching a Magiantist because of their evil misdoings in our eyes. So, you know, before we start, you know, calling kettles black, I think we should be.
To be perfectly honest, I'm still on the side of the Demorthan in all this. I just see currently siding with the Magiantist as better for stopping this problem.
Yeah, I think the dealing with the flux is problem number one.
That was my plan of thinking. I don't judge him at all for killing the Magiantist. I never said I did.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad we just got that one cleared
out. I just didn't tell him that I thought that.
Okay. Well, then I think we should remove the. I think Fulger's going to take a step into the laboratory and make a move to rapidly remove the fossil flux from the laboratory and take it out of the laboratory.
So this stone that you mentioned, where is it? Is it here?
It's like right in front of us on a table.
Yeah, it's a glowing sort of amber rock on the table. Yeah.
Does it look anything like the stone that we smashed at the end of? Because there was a weird rock type thing.
That was
With
oozing
the
out then,
cultist
wasn't it?
dude.
Oh no, in the second
that
adventure,
Yeah.
because we thought it somehow.
The occult thing.
Yeah.
You're pretty certain this is very condensed fossil flux.
Right. It's pure evil.
That's what Fulgur wants to go and grab it. That is what Fulgur's doing.
I will
it from the laboratory.
yell at Fulgur to grab it with not his hands.
Smash it!
As if a rock could cause you. As if a rock could hurt you.
Don't touch it.
Fulgur, don't touch
Fulgur
it.
has
Smash it!
zero such compunctions.
I guess
Okay.
at least you're wearing gauntlets.
Cast
Are
it into
you-
the fire!
Is Fulgur looking at it as he walks towards it?
I mean, like Fulgur is probably Fulgur is a very straight. Yes, Fulgur is transfixed on it because Fulgur has absolutely one track in his mind, and it's currently destroy rock.
About halfway there, Fulgur feels an incredible level of vertigo.
Right, gonna push through. Can I try and push through?
Yep, it gets worse and worse as you get closer. If you continue looking at it.
While Fulgur is clearly struggling, I'm going to ask, so how do we destroy it?
Fulgur will stagger back.
Jiren says, I will destroy it if you reveal the truth about Dion.
Then what do we do with it now?
Whatever you please.
I'm not inclined to leave it here to continue causing its work, and in case anyone else were to find it, but I'm not sure we can remove it, I say, glancing at Fulgur.
So I don't know, I'm sorry. Don't know what came over me. Rock makes me feel sick when I look at it.
This has to stop now, Vazel. If you don't stop this now, how can we trust that anything you're saying is true? That has to be destroyed and stopped now.
What's Dion's plan? Dion, we need to get rid of this rock. If we were to, how would you get rid of it?
Jiren Verzel says, wait. Are you people of your word?
Well, I am.
Yes.
When I give it.
You've been in our minds for some time, it seems. I'm sure you have a better idea than many.
If I destroy this now and free Jiren, will you do as I have asked?
You will be showing a level of trust in us. I feel like you have no choice.
I will tell the truth of what I've seen here.
I will too.
I think that's fair.
The flux crumbles and Jiren kind of droops a little as if he's been released from sort of something holding him up. Oh, I have a headache.
Jiren, are you all right?
Fionn, can you check him?
Yes. Someone should go and check that stone, see if it's
Fulgur's happy
inert.
to just wander, see if he can wander over and crush it a bit more. Like
it's basically crumbled to dust.
Yeah, it appears
out
to be
of
gone.
Fulgur's hands.
But I still wouldn't like to stick around too long with the the undulating. It's just looking at the weird cocoons.
How is Jiren? And yes, let's go.
Do you want to make a roll, like a first AD?
Yeah, sure.
Roll?
Bearing in mind this is like the quickest while hurrying out of the room.
That's fine.
Am I all right with traditional medicine? That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. 15.
Theon.
No, 19. 19.
Okay. While Theon probably hasn't ever dealt with a possession before, you imagine it could leave you with a headache. You're not too worried about the fact that, he seems fine apart from the fact he's saying he's got a headache.
Okay, that's fine. I'm hurrying him straight out of here.
Yeah.
Are the walls still... It's clear that it's not like the loss of the flux has killed all of the creatures on the walls. They're presumably still writhing.
They are, yes. Yeah, it seems to have had no effect on them.
Do you think it'd be possible to stack and burn this entire laboratory to the ground? If Fulgur was of a mind to do it, what would be would there be a straightforward way to do that? Because, of all the centipedes inside.
We can send someone. We can send others back. If it's not going to get
that's
worse,
a good
we can
idea.
deal with it.
Theon isn't even in the room anymore.
Cool. Right, then let's go. Let's get out of here.
You go up the steps and out of the trapdoor and into the swampy area. And who is sort of bringing Dion along with them?
I think I would have left him with Ragnar, given that we've been doing other things, kinda, and I would have trusted you with him, Ragnar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, have a hold of him. And...
Yeah, I'd like to stay close. I'm probably not as beefy for.
Yeah, I think at this stage I'm happy. I think Fulgur goes to the group. I think we should tell the village of the story, but I don't think we can hold Dion to any more account than we can hold ourselves.
It's for them
Dion,
to judge.
What does Dion say?
I guess. What I would propose before is if Dion can expel himself from the community, and he knows that we are going to tell your village. It is up. I suggest we offer Dion the chance to return or not.
What does he say?
Can anyone within 5 feet of Dion make a perception roll, please?
Also, no, I'll do this first.
6.
11.
15.
16. I rolled a 10. I don't know whether you can crit on. I didn't crit, but 16.
Okay. Ragnar and Theon hear Dion mumbling something under his breath.
Oh no. Can I try and put my hand over his mouth, or sort of I don't
Punch
know.
you in the gut.
Yeah, some sort of.
Yeah, let's do an opposed feats roll.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. If I also heard that at that moment, I'm also gonna react. And so yeah, you can do that. Can I do one too?
Just start kicking him on the ground.
Just kick him right between the legs.
My feet.
Stop the spell.
And Fulgur and Sophia,
Yep.
can you make me second perception rolls, please?
6.
So on my feet, I rolled a 7 and add on a score of 8 to that. So
Okay.
it's 15.
Sophia and Fulgur, you see ahead of you some sort of collections of sort of mud and sticks begin to push up out of the swampy bog ahead of you. And then you hear the sound of a hand going over a mouth, and then another hand taking that hand off the mouth, and then finally the hand slapping back on the mouth again. And whatever these things were begin to sink back again into the swamp. Ragnar and Theon are not aware of that happening.
Turn around and say, gag him. He's doing something.
Ragnar's already got him.
I will tie a gag while Ragnar holds him down.
Theon, if that gag is not good enough to hold him, I will kill him on the way.
I
home.
rolled a 13 on my feet. There you go. I mean, my gag tying feet.
Cool.
Dion, you are not making yourself look innocent here. If you don't think you can stand the judgment of your own town, that's on your conscience, but don't you dare attack us.
We did put ourselves at risk by stating we'd reveal the truth, so...
What did you see? What was he doing?
Some creature started appearing from the swamp.
Some magic. Something was pushing up from the ground, and it
Creature?
stopped when you put your hand over him, Ragnall.
What was it for? What was it of?
Earth and sticks and something.
Jonny, is that anything like any sort of Ogham that I know? It sounds like it could be feasibly to me.
I think you don't think it's outside the realms of possibility.
Could it be this gluter creature, whatever it's?
You don't imagine that any Demorthan that you associate with would use, probably, potentially. But yeah,
Okay.
You don't think it's outside the realms of
I'm
possibility.
not suspicious that it's something alien, but I'll probably say something like using Rindath against others who are simply trying to find out the truth, and I'll give him a smack across the head after I tied the thing around.
Don't murder my
deserved.
friends!
Oh, you know what? I want to roll a feat just because it'll be funny. Oh, I got a 10. That's kind of middle. That's not even decisive one way or another.
A medium
Right.
slap.
Well, I mean, let's remove him from this area. He can always wander back on it. Let's get some distance back to town.
He's the one who brought us into this whole mess in the first place. And now he's trying to get us to cover it up. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
If we head straight back to town, we have to bear in mind he is their Demorthan. Our word against his, he probably wins.
We don't need
More
to
evidence.
convince them. I think we need to relay the information as accurately as we can, and the
we
village will
turn
make
up.
their own
We turn up
decision.
with him tied up, and they attack us. What do we say? What do
Jiren.
He's not dead.
Jiren,
Jiren,
do you
so, yeah.
remember what happened? Do you have any memory of your last couple of hours?
It's hazy, but yeah, a little.
Not just our word, then.
Even so, we need more. I think.
I feel that what he was saying was the truth.
The papers. If we could get them, it would be.
Do we go back to the ruins?
But don't forget, the ruins are dangerous. There are papers back at the chapel as well.
But the chapel is a long distance.
I don't think any of those exist.
Well, that simultaneously makes me feel less comfortable and also less confident that we're doing the right thing.
This is I agree, we can't know for sure. All we can do is report back and let Loch Varn cast judgment upon Dion however they see fit. I'm not a judge here.
I'm nervous given how small and isolated this place is that they may pass judgment on us first, ignoring whatever we say.
Especially with Fion's track record of...
It's probably as news has travelled.
We have made a promise to relay our information to Loch Varn. We should do that.
We should.
And that is the end of it. And I would like to get back there because we all need to send people to recover the injured warrior at the ruins, and that is not really something we can do at this moment.
Jonny, do we having got some memories back, do we remember how far it would have been to travel to these ruins? I know you said that he didn't look like he was, injured enough that he'd bleed out in the next couple of hours, say, but does it feel like we should go get him now, or that we could go back and have others come back to recover the other guy?
You think you would be hit or miss if you went to the village and came back later and nobody had got him in the interim?
We should go to the ruins.
Let's go to the ruins then, pick him up. We'll head straight to the ruins. And then I honestly think we should cut this guy loose and, or kill him.
Yeah. So you get to the ruins. It's silent in here. There is no light down that hallway anymore. I presume you're just heading straight round to where the guy was before.
Yeah.
Kind of want to go down that hallway now.
He sees you and says,
they're on the way back.
"Oh, you have found Diorn," and he then spots the situation and looks completely. He has no
Confused?
idea what is going on.
We'll explain
no
to
idea
you.
what to think.
Confused is fine. Angry is would be a problem, but
We
confused
can
is-
explain to you when we get to Loch Varn. Suffice to say, at the moment, he may be a threat to us and to you.
But
just
And
trust us.
Jiren
But you have-
is with us now.
but you have not tied Jiren.
He's of much his own
Jiren
mind
is
again.
yes.
He-
Aren't
I
you?
don't think he's a danger anymore.
I do not agree with this, but I need help. So if you would get me back to the village.
We should do that.
Mhm.
Are there any left of the original group?
You have seen nobody. You haven't passed any bodies either. So it may be that they have escaped, or it may be
Can
that
we-
they have died somewhere else in here.
Like, can we? It's probably a stupid idea. But can we call out?
I mean, I was going to suggest going back to where you killed your cousin. If it is quiet,
Let's get the injured people
We
out
should
first.
get out of here. I don't want to
Okay.
dwell in here longer than we
Okay.
have to. Others can come here in future if they need to. Now, it should be safer than it was once that stone has been destroyed.
I think
now
we
that stone
should-
is destroyed.
I think we are safe enough calling out. If anyone, if we get shouts back that aren't to our favor, then we can just move.
How about we start moving out? You can take the rear, Volga, and you can shout from a safe distance away from us.
yeah, that's fair.
Seems fair. I'm going to do that.
We're starting.
Okay. So what you could do is sort of get to the door into the vatted area, and then as they're sort of on their way out of there, you could call out.
I think I'd like to just do like a sweep, of the area, just to kind of see. Because my perspective is, I think the mercenaries have got what they wanted and left, and so I'm betting on being able to move through this area pretty quickly, and kind of call out to see if there's any survivors or anything.
You find nobody alive. If you're running around, you see a couple of bodies from either side. You see a couple of people sort of in the Varn's sort of outfit colours, and a couple of the mercenaries, but nobody alive.
Okay.
What-
Sweeping through, I'll do that, and then I'll head. I might stick my head into various of the rooms, even rooms that we didn't, like the VATS area, and
Yeah.
briefly to the north, and just call out to see if anyone responds. And then if there's nothing, then I'll head out to the entrance, or at least to the entrance way where the rooms are.
Yeah, you get no response from any of these sections. Like you said, you would presume that the mercenaries have got what they wanted and left.
Yeah.
And you're not sure on the warriors from Varn.
While that's
Well, then
going on,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you
I
go.
was going to say,
I'm sorry,
while that's going on, I think I would be asking Jaren. So it seems you had some insight into. Oh God, why does this guy's name not stay in my mind?
Verzel.
Verzel's mind. You knew the papers didn't exist. Is there anything else you can tell us?
He fed you most of the information.
And that information seemed to be true as far as you can perceive?
I have little experience of this, but yes, it certainly seemed sincere.
And these papers, they never existed. I wonder what the mercenaries were looking for then. I kind of say that to the others then, rather than specifically to Jiren.
If Fulgur rocks up at this point, basically explains that there's no one left in the ruins, and he would, and you can head back to the town, but I'm gonna go look in those rooms and see if there's anything they've missed. But you bear in mind that Fulgur is incapable of finding anything.
Well, I guess I need to stick with Dion to keep a an eye on him. So.
Sophia, do you want to make sure Fulgur doesn't get himself into trouble?
Yeah, I mean, Sophia and I are fast travellers, and Sophia's good at finding things.
I don't much
We're
like
good
the
finders.
two of you being outnumbered by the others from Varn. Sorry, no offense, looking to Jiren
It's
and the
fine.
injured guy. But...
Jiren seems trustworthy, and this one's in no state to fight, and he's an old man. His greatest weapon is gagged. I think we'll be okay.
All right. Do keep a close eye on him, though. I trust he had good intention, but his judgment. And then I'll head off with Fulgur. I also can't find things very easily, by the way, so this is going to be a disaster.
Oh, well, you know.
We're the two perception ones then, are we? Okay. Oh, well.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sure
Johnny's
you
frozen and dead, I think.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But
Do we just
apart from
make
that,
things
I'm
up
going
now?
to roll a perception roll.
I am here.
Oh, right,
that's
okay.
Good.
Good job we didn't say anything rude.
You're just intensely staring on what you've got left up.
So, Fulgur and Sophia, you go into these rooms and they have been ransacked. There is nothing on paper anywhere in any of these rooms. There are some desks and the drawers have been pulled completely out of the desks and are completely empty. Yeah, basically there is. It's not that you don't find anything; it's that there is nothing to find.
Sounds good. That's a quick search.
That's fine. Yeah,
I'm convinced.
We can probably catch them up. We'll travel faster than they will.
Let's do that then.
Yeah.
Presumably there was no trouble from this warrior or anyone else while we're traveling. We're all good.
No.
Cool.
No, you're all good. And yeah, I think they probably catch you up by the time because you're obviously the warrior's sort of very slow. His movement, realistically, he can walk with sort of an arm around somebody, but he is, taking his time. And you arrive back at Varn Village, and you hear sort of cheers from people as they see Dion and the warrior and coming back.
Awkward.
Awkward.
And
actually, I would have removed Dion's gag just before we got to the village.
Okay.
As we're entering the village, and I'm keeping a close eye on him the whole period.
You're on mute. Just
I think he wants to be on mute,
so he can so that he can scream, "Help! Help! They're murdering me!"
He can if he wants to. Unless the others stop me. I'm going to make it obvious I'm doing it, and you can tell me not to.
No, I'm not going to stop you.
I feel like it looks worse to have him gagged walking through the village than it does for him maybe to just be yelling help, so I'm just going to do that. But it's as we're entering.
He doesn't sort of shrug you off or anything, or make a scene upon entrance to the village. And the village elder has obviously heard the cheers from people and comes out and comes up to you and says, "You have returned. 3 of the original scouting party have returned before you. I'm not sure if you helped, but thank you if you did. And it is good to see that you have all returned alive, if not uninjured." He looks at the warrior and says, "Go, get help." And another person kind of comes and wanders them off.
We must speak urgently and privately.
Yes, of course. Have you found something? The cause of what's been happening?
Yes.
Good. Yes. Let's go.
I mean, I'm not particularly strong, but I'm presumably I'm stronger than an old man. So I'm holding Dion. I mean, Ragnar probably is too, and kind of shuffling him along without making it too much like he's being manhandled.
So he leads you into the building that you've been in a number of times, and kind of takes his seat at the front and says, "So, tell me all. Do we need to send more men?"
We believe that the cause of this corruption may have been dealt with. There was a stone of fossil flux that was destroyed, but more may need to be done, and time may need to pass before the land is completely healed.
Dion pipes up and says, "Jiren went mad, and they have
I say
lent
like
into
loudly
his
over him.
they have lent into his wild ramblings." And the council leader holds his hand up.
We will need to send more men to burn the laboratory underneath the Glutter's, whatever it's, shrine or whatever it is.
Sanctuary, yeah.
Sanctuary, yeah.
You have found another Magiant's lab.
Yes.
And it appears to be the hatching ground for these creatures.
Huh.
The cause isn't quite as straightforward as that, though. The reason this became so out of hand appears to be because many years ago, Dion and other Demorthen from Varn went and slaughtered, so it would seem, the Magiantists, and which left their experiments to run wild.
Dion,
The flux
I think you should explain what happened in the year 557 to Verzel, the Magiantist.
Well, their experiments were running amok, and we dealt with it.
I think I won't.
And the village council leader says, "I see no problem here."
There's not any real reason to believe that the experiments were running amok, although certainly that poor decision has indirectly led to what we find today.
I'm inclined to agree with Fulga. The evidence we've come across does suggest that things were made worse by that.
We have seen ourselves crazed Magiantists. In this case, we were able to reason with the spirit of Verzel who possessed Jiren. That does not seem... he seemed rational. By destroying... Go on.
It should also be noted that Dion did appear to try to turn against us
by conjuring some
creature, but rather than have us tell you this story, which was inconvenient, but unfortunately for us, not overly dangerous.
Dion, were you intending to kill us?
No. I had no intention of that.
That's a lie.
Frankly, I don't really care too much how you deal with this. I have promised to come back and report on things that we have discovered. Personally, I think it's pretty despicable to deal with views you don't agree with through murder, especially with these kinds of unintentional consequences that have resulted in only more deaths and monstrosities being created, far worse, seemingly, than the original experiments. But that's for you to judge. I'm not here to pass judgment on Dion, although, frankly, if there is no judgment on his attack on us, I'll be pretty disappointed. But again, I see that as your business, not mine.
If you have no further questions of ours.
No, I will send men to deal with the remnants as you have described. And thank you for your assistance.
It does seem perhaps that the fossil flux underneath the sanctuary is responsible for much of what the strange goings on around the sanctuary are, that maybe Dion has been misattributing for some years.
That's right.
I'm no Demorthan.
There's not just that big stone that we found and destroyed, though. There seems to be evidence of flux used to displace naturally in the earth throughout this whole region.
Other pockets, yes.
Yeah, I think from what it seemed as though the Magiantists were intending to remove it, whether it was for their own experiments or what, I don't know. But the reports we had were that the Demorthan disagreed with this fundamentally because they believed it wasn't flux. It was something to do with spirits, glutter. I can't pretend to understand much about the Demorthan spirituality, but if keeping that flux in the ground is dangerous, I wouldn't put your spirituality before the pragmatism of it causing trouble. Again, for you to decide.
I'll take this on board. However, I'm afraid I trust Dion a great deal more than the ramblings of a man who claims to be possessed by a long-dead Magiantist.
Well, that is your prerogative.
For what it's worth, Dion didn't really dispute any of this. He just felt justified. But again, up to you.
I'm sure Dion and I will discuss at length the goings-on of the last few days.
And of course, Dion, we did save your life, so there should be some matter of payment for some of this, surely.
He turns with a look of fury.
Fulgus used to be getting furious looks when he asks for payments. You know, he's never done a job well.
You always pick the worst time. The worst time. It's incredible.
Look, we're going to burn this bridge, so we might as well get the money now.
If you're going to burn a bridge, burn it right. Yeah.
The council leader says, "I would suggest that you leave."
I will get up to leave, and as I leave, I will say, looking at Dion, "You shame the name Demorthan. May the spirits judge you." And then I will walk out.
Yeah, I'll follow Fionn.
Jiren is waiting outside. He says, "I've just been checked out. I seem to be fine. I imagine that didn't go down particularly well. I've spent my time going in and out of villages like this, and I'm sure I can imagine how the conversation went."
I think it might be time to travel again.
We've got to get a better paying job next time.
It could have gone worse.
I seriously think you should consider your next town. I wouldn't be surprised if they think you're still possessed or something. I don't know. But if they're intent on supporting Dion and you're the new villain of the piece, time for the next adventure.
Yes, quite. And you head out of the village gates with no unpleasant stares from anybody else. Obviously, they don't know what's gone on. And you feel the wind begin to pick up, heading towards Varn village from the east. And you think maybe, just maybe, you hear it whisper Verzel's name. And that's done.
Nothing. Cool. Good. I'm glad with that. That's all I did. Just great.
I wish Sophia was a little more bloodthirsty like Fulgur, because, like,
Thank you.
So Sophia wouldn't have thought this, but Inga sure as hell thinks, yeah, we should have killed that guy. He's mean.
You know, like literally right at the start where Giron was about to like to stab the guy, I was like, my first instinct is first cut off Giron's hand, second kill this Demorthan. Like, you know, preferably kill both of them. You know, like they're both
Dion
dangerous.
the whole way. I was like, I should trust him because he's a Demorthan man. Like, but I don't personally trust him at all.
Yeah.
This is just confirmed everything Fulgur already knew about Demorthans.
Jonny will be back momentarily.
And I think as well, it's clear the only people we've met in this game who have been consistently good are the Temple. They've always got food.
I think consistently good and not actively the big bad we've been dealing with are not quite the same.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I feel like we've had a real combination, like a real ups and downs for Magiantis and Demorthan. And
just
then,
down from Magiantis.
And then just mostly down from Magiantis. That one wasn't so bad.
If you play a Magiantis and like this game's pretty rough on you, it's like you're gonna go crazy.
Have you seen the art in the book for the Magiantis? It's proper like evil side of Industrial Revolution, like
propaganda,
dark skies,
propaganda
people in their labs.
I mean, there was that nice Magiantist who tried to help us. I mean, obviously after we killed all the mercenaries that were guarding him, and then they died as well.
They died, killed by another Magiantist.
Yes, but briefly, one Magiantist was
who is not yet mad from fossil flux.
There was also Angus's brother who was kind of interested in Magiants.
Yeah, that's not quite Magiantist level though.
No.
I mean, you're kind of interested
Sophia
in Magiants,
ended
right,
up taking points. Sophia's got a couple of points in Magiants. She's picked up things along the way.
I'm watching you.
Wow, dangerous. Varagors seem to be universally nice. I think everyone agrees that Varagors are nice. Well, I can't believe we didn't get paid for that. I'm so frustrated.
I would have been
I was
shocked.
like, why are we doing this?
I'm shocked you didn't loot the bodies as we came across.
You know what? I was this close. I was this close. I was like, that's crass. That's crass.
That's how adventuring parties get paid.
Fulgur gets paid for his work, and he takes things for places where everyone's long dead. He grave robs, but he doesn't rob off fresh corpses. He's not. I mean, unless he killed the person himself.
Can you imagine?
That's fine.
Ugh, maybe we should have killed Dion when he tried to do that muttering. Ugh.
I mean,
I was so going for a knife. So
I mean, if Jonny ever comes back,
yeah, true.
God, cursed episode.
I can't believe all 4 of the sessions, or was it 5 of the sessions before this were actually a dream? No, 4, because the first kind of half wasn't a dream.
Next time, always do what Fulgur says.
No, the first was the dream. The second was half real.
The first episode was a dream within a dream.
Yeah, the first was a dream. No, the first was a dream within a dream. The second was half real, half dream, I think. Because the first half
but it's only half real because we went back to the past and played out the memories.
We were going back to the past anyway, but then it was for the present. And then there was like 3 episodes or 2 episodes in the middle of pure dream.
Yeah.
And then we came back to the real now.
My perspective as well is that with like we don't know anything that Virgil said us was remotely correct. Factually.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking as well.
Like,
the only reason I trusted any of it was when he disappeared. There were 2 things: when he disappeared and the fact that it made Dion super awkward and nervous.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, that's true. Then.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's why I killed them both. It's like kill them both. Let the one true God sort it out.
I guess Virgil's already gone. Including cousins, apparently.
Yeah, so you did actually kill your cousin.
You did. I mean,
again, my character is alone. His backstory is he has no family.
I realised the point of that being
this.
showed in your dream was so you could avoid it happening.
I don't think that's true.
I think that's true in the story. It's why else would Virgil show you that, right?
No.
Yeah, Yeah, what was the deal with the cousin?
Yeah, I know. And
When Jonny gets
I
back,
don't
he's
have a
got
cousin. This is why Fulk has been so suspicious of this from day one. I haven't got
Just
a
keep
cousin.
killing every relation.
yeah, why does Fulga have no relatives? I wonder.
I found a
Also-
long lost relative. I'm sorry, I meant to be alone. I'll have to kill you to make the backstory work.
I am one of the youngest of the last of the line of a shitty noble house. I don't need any contenders.
One of the youngest. Now the youngest.
Now the oldest. So I can't be having that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are like I wonder. I don't know. If we went back to the island, would anything?
Yeah,
be there?
I would have.
If we went back to where the thing was buried, would anything be there? Is there anything?
I would have liked to have. Oh,
Yeah,
we have a grand return
And I
here.
guess then we still have memories, so we can remember the equation to build to make the thing
it's
that
the
reveals
again.
the words.
Yeah, what
could.
happens if we try and do all that? I mean, I don't think we'll be able to go to the island now because we've run out of town. But if we
Right.
cross the loch from the other side, I don't know.
How many points do we get on that one out of 10?
If you
Right.
look, hello again. If you look at the loch, you'll see there's no island.
So none of it exists.
Do you want to kind of go round the places that you?
I would have liked to have gone to the tree, the coordinates.
But no, but there,
Okay.
there is an island on the map. So the map is from Dreamland.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we
Is
went
there
back
anything
down-
obvious where the tree? Yeah, where the point marked us to? Because that was for the dream, right? There must have been something to that.
Yeah. Do you want to dig?
Yeah,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
This
Cash.
appears to be a mass magiantist grave.
Cool.
Oh, fudge. We should have
Yeah.
gone to the tree first.
I
You
had
and
a
you're
feeling
rushing
that's
back to the village with no proof. We should have gone to the tree first.
Nah.
You're unsure whether the council leader would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cared.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously. I mean, Jesus.
Is there anything of interest in the grave?
Apart from
Now Theon is looting the graves. God.
Just bones, really.
Okay. I wasn't really thinking of looting. I was more thinking if there's any notes or but no.
and I think we'd have gone back to the temple and I think we'd have warned Joan that the village is deeply unfriendly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Eddie,
100%.
Like this is some Wicker Man village, which means nothing to Joan or us.
Yeah,
Just-
we're nice people. Believe us. Don't believe.
If we go back to Melwan, like we can tell other villages about what the hell happened here.
I mean, we should spread this on the Varigal News Network.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
place is
Actually, would
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
support
Can
that
leave
action.
signs and stuff. Yeah.
Personally, I think
Really.
we should inform the what is it? The goddamn capital called Tier, whatever it is. We should inform like, the
Tarkel.
Tarkel Magiantist College that a shit ton of Magiantists were killed in this place, and they should send some kind of inquisition.
Yeah,
That's
50 years
basically
ago. Yeah.
what I would like to send a letter to say.
That seems a bit extreme. I wouldn't suggest an inquisition.
I think Fulger's a fan of an inquisition.
I would.
mean, I'm just stirred.
I also just make a point of slandering the name of Dion to any Demorthan I come across.
Half of them are like, but these Magiantists. To be fair, again, we have killed Magiantists.
I know.
They attacked
But
us.
only after they've gone and burst into
I have
weird.
no
Up
problem with
against the
Dion
wall.
until he attacked us. Well, I had some problem with Dion. Then I had a lot of
We're
problems.
up against the wall, but I'm just saying there's not a whole lot of difference.
Also, but like, aren't
We didn't need a
Demorthan
mass
fairly
grave.
pacifist?
Hmm.
Right? This seems
Yeah.
very out of character. Like this, I mean, maybe I've just come across very
That's-
pacifist
that's-
Demorthan so
Fox
far.
will make
But
crazy things, even if you're a
yeah,
Demorthan.
Dion's a rogue element.
He really is.
I think this is what Flux does to you, And that's why I'm absolutely sure and glad the temple has nothing to do with Flux. And if there's no way that anything will convince me that ever there was any Flux involved, I don't think at all.
Johnny, can we
Absolutely.
have one where the temple of the bad guys now, please?
No!
I don't want Fulgur to be right.
That's the main campaign.
when Fulgur is part of the good guys, the world is upside down.
So that's it for Shadows of Esteren for now. if anybody has questions or comments, I don't know if you've done that while my computer was having a meltdown.
We were just arguing furiously about,
and we can discuss them. So other things on the channel, Simba Room on a Wednesday. At some point, probably in May, World of Darkness will return on a Thursday. Saturday the 16th, about 3 p.m, I am going to be running a Space Thulu adventure. And it's tentatively titled Tranquility. It's 3 T's. Yes, it's going to be set a little while after the Long Silent Night thing that we did in December. It's going to be fun for me and horrifying for everyone else.
I was about to ask if there's going to be any recurring characters, but I just realized the things that the previous characters went through, they would never go into space again.
And Sam is going to be taking over running something on Monday nights.
Yeah, it's already been announced in our future sessions video, I think, which is probably out on the channel by now. But I'm going to be running Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition, which should be a lot of fun. I think with most of the crew here, except Inga is swapping out for John, who is in our Wednesday lot, I think. And
Play with John
yeah,
in ages.
I know, it'd be nice. I haven't played with John in forever as well, actually. So yeah, that will probably be a few weeks, I imagine, at least, because it seems like there's a little bit of availability we're not sure about. We've got to get character gen out the way, but hopefully by the end of April, we'll be starting up with that.
I get to play instead of run. Yay.
Yeah.
I've not played in anything on the channel yet. I've not even played in any of the one-shots because I've not been free, so fun.
So in terms of comments, I did like this one for suggestion of dealing with the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Tell the spirit to destroy
Thank
the rock
you.
after they
Thank
sell
you.
it. It's an excellent idea.
And of course, the burning question that we really need to know an answer to is,
Was he actually Fulga's cousin?
He is actually Fulga's cousin.
Why was he in the dream and all that? What was?
How did Virgil know that? Like, what?
He's a spirit. They know loads.
Yeah.
What
Also,
was-
Fulga has no qualms.
Is Fulga's
I've noticed
anywhere
that.
near here? What's he got doing with cousins in Loch Varn?
What was it actually? Was it actually that Virgil was trying to warn Fulga not to kill his own cousin in what he knew was going to happen? And that didn't work anyway. Also, what was the
One
deal with the
step
mercenaries
closer
in
to
general?
the-
What were the mercenaries there for? Like, what was going on with that? Some mercenaries?
I don't know whether
Temple
to say in
mercenaries.
case we end up running like
oh, I
the
see.
stuff that comes after this.
Fair, it's fair. Well,
Okay, what about...
There
so
are a
Fulga-
few unresolved little things from a couple of the adventures
All right.
that if we end up running the main campaign in the book, it ties in and comes back.
Oh, it's the message. The message that got sent to the city. That's going to be another one of them in the last
Yeah.
one, remember?
Yeah.
That's going to be another one.
I have a question for Fulga. So he was very convinced, or Justin, about Fulga. He was very convinced that these were visions from the one true God. How does Fulga feel about it now that he knows that they were not and they were in
I
fact
think you're
visions?
really overestimating how much of an inner monologue Fulga has.
This hasn't crushed his sense of
Like-
identity, or is just like, yep, tomorrow's another day.
I think this has affected Fulga's sense of identity almost exactly the same amount as it's affected the villagers of Varn's identity.
That's the perfect comparison. Look,
Bad.
it's clearly bad. Look, can't you tell it's not the thing you thought it was? Huh? No, it's fine. Just go away.
Amazing.
I mean, in the end, we solved the mystery. None of us died. You know, who's to say it wasn't the one true God?
Yeah. I was tempted at one point to ask Virgil like what he thought the good of telling the town about this would be, given that there's a good chance that they'll just back Dion. And I was like, I'm not going to ask that in case it means he's not going to comply. But I did wonder. I feel really bad.
You've held up your side of the deal, so his spirit will not pester you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, yeah, and he's not gone.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, again, why did we not ask him what death was like? We're talking literally to a dead person. We were like, yeah, we're fine with this. Like, this is all fine.
It's a good point.
So
I mean,
Basil,
there's no.
what's death like? What was it like anyway?
Is that rude?
Not
Is that
great.
rude to ask a
Not
dead
great, Fiona.
person?
It might be rude, yeah.
I don't know. That was maybe that's not very good etiquette.
Like,
Sounds like a
why-
really traumatic thing
they're
that
dead?
just happened. Don't know.
why now after 50 years? Was it some sort of
yeah,
conflicts
point.
of?
Well, I guess it took time. They said that over time the flux has an impact, right? So
Right.
maybe it's just.
I suppose it's like
the
the centipedes arrived. That triggered us going to the ruins. Going to the ruins probably triggered something that released the spirit.
Yeah,
Mm.
And then releasing the spirit,
Mm.
that triggered something that led us back to digging into fossil blocks.
I think the
Yeah.
idea is basically that Virzel was sort of haunting the ruins,
and no one had been
and nobody had been in the ruins for 50 years. And because, as Justin said, the flux kind of caused the giant centipede things. That's what then triggered people going to the ruins.
Yeah, fair enough.
there. Yeah, makes sense.
And us going to the ruins was because Dion wanted everybody to go and explore the ruins again because he thought it was the Magician's fault. So this is all Dion's fault.
Well, we knew that. Just
Multiple ways.
Can't prove it, which is really
Ugh.
irritating.
It is. It's
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can just
Cool.
spread his name as a bad
I'm doing
example.
Doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Lots of spreading of names.
It's okay, he'll be doing the same to you. So
It's fine.
Oh, great.
Yeah, to like 5 people in a
He
village.
doesn't travel.
the squirrels,
I'm gonna
don't
win.
tell the squirrels.
Yeah, exactly. Who's he gonna
Oh.
tell?
The corpses.
His
The
giant centipedes.
John is going all weird
Those
again.
giant centipedes, man.
I hope they're eaten by giant
I'm
centipedes.
so
They keep
glad
the giant
those
centipedes.
cocoons didn't go.
Was there a secret room in the temple if we head back there?
I bet
The
there
chapel,
Yeah,
No,
there is not.
rubbish.
Would have been scraping up flagstones for ages. Would have dug our own.
We probably would have stayed there on the way out and just gone to have a look anyway.
Depositing sandwiches, just giving us worried looks.
She would.
We've removed half the
Joan would,
flagstones.
yeah, Joan would just find me like scratching the floor in that
he's
room
gone
for a
again.
while.
Oh dear. Well,
I think if Virzel had a nice, petty, mean-spirited kind of way of doing things, instead of just haunting them as himself, he would pretend to be Glutter and shame. Like he would also badmouth as the spirit of Glutter.
Yeah, that would have been much more.
The
Yeah.
action.
the village
of
doesn't
Dion.
care.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
maybe
like,
they
yeah.
would. If Glutter, surely Glutter comes higher than Dion.
I think Dion tells them what to think at this point.
What I've learned
Yeah.
about increasingly fringe conspiracy theorists is that there is nothing that can change them from their views.
I did wonder initially whether it was a little bit Wicker Man, the whole sort of isolated village setup. So we probably, we did get away lightly, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
This is what I was saying when we were first going to the village. I was genuinely worried they were just going to attack us. That's why I removed the gag.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it probably wasn't the wrong decision.
Well,
Cool. So Wednesday, Simba Room. Next Wednesday, Simba Room. And next Saturday, Call of Cthulhu. Maybe, Steve?
maybe this Wednesday might well be the finale of the current Wrath of the Warden arc.
The
Double
Warden.
finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tune in to that if you want spirited.
So definitely
climactic-
Wednesday, Simba Room.
Definitely this Wednesday,
Definitely
Simba Room.
next Saturday, Call of Cthulhu. That's all we've got
And keep an eye
set in
out.
stone
Yeah.
for now.
Cool.
Yeah, keep an eye on
Cool.
Twitter or whatever for further updates.
Join us on our Discord. It's nice.
Right.
Cool. Right. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a fun ride, and we'll catch you on Wednesday for Simba Room's finale.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.